Hello, children. This is Grandma Carla with the last chapter of Frog Power, and it's chapter 11. So we find out how the story winds up. Stacy ran to her room and began to read. The frog was sad because the princess had not kept her promise. One day there was a slippery knock on the castle door. A hoarse voice called, "Princess, princess, open up. Let me sip from your golden cup." The princess ran to the door and looked out. When she saw the frog, she almost slammed the door. But there was a tear on the frog's face. "Why are you crying?" asked the princess. "I am lonely," he said. "I want to be your friend." The princess began to cry too. She was as lonely as the green frog. "Come in, we will have tea." And she wiped her eyes and bent down to pick up the frog. But when she did, the frog disappeared, and in its place stood a tall prince with gentle brown eyes, and he was smiling at her. "Oh, thank you, dear princess." The prince tipped his hat. "Your kindness did the trick at last." The princess began to dance and sing. The prince took her hand, and they danced and sang together. Then the doorbell rang, and Stacy hurried to meet Abby. "You were right," Stacy said. "The ending is great." Abby sat on the floor. "It's not just a good ending, it's a good beginning too." Stacy understood. In fairy tales, people lived happily ever after. In real life, it's not that easy. It's just a story, Abby reminded Stacy. "Let's make the parade outfits." "Okay." But Stacy opened the storybook to the last page one more time. A round gold coach with 6 white horses drove up to the castle. The frog prince whisked the princess off to the royal wedding. Stacy sighed. "My family needs some frog power." Abby smiled. She traced the hat patterns on the tissue paper. "Your parents are talking to each other. That's a good sign. Maybe someday they'll be friends." Stacy sat beside Abby and cut out the bonnets. With all of her heart, she hoped that Abby was right. Just then, Stacy's mom knocked on the door. Quickly, the girls hid the parade stuff under the bed. "Come in," Stacy called when it was all clear. Her mother carried in a tray of cookies. "Hungry, girls?" "Thanks," Abby said. "Oh, this reminds me," Stacy said, taking a cookie. "I need some flies to feed Jason's bullfrog." Stacy's mother raised her eyebrows. "Flies?" "Frogs get hungry too," Stacy explained. "You could ask your father about it when he comes for supper tomorrow," said her mother. Stacy couldn't help herself. She shouted, "Thank you! Oh, Mommy, thank you!" Of course, it wasn't gold coaches or white horses, and it certainly wasn't promises or gold necklaces, but it was something very special. So Stacy's going to get to have dinner with her daddy at her house, and that's something very special indeed. There are all the animals getting ready for the parade, the Easter parade. And I hope you will enjoy Easter tomorrow with your church family and your family. And I hope that you will remember that Easter is not just a fun time for parades and candy and baskets and eggs and Easter bunnies, but it is the time when we celebrate the resurrection of our Lord Jesus Christ. And I hope that you've enjoyed reading this book by Beverly Cleary, who is a Christian author and who is trying to deal with a lot of kid problems in a Christian way. And this is Grandma Carla, and I love you.